Hello and welcome to the outdoor video vlog by yours truly. This time you find me at Eskdale Falls in the sort of southwestern corner of the Lake District. A beautiful area. I don't know what I can get them in. Oh, there they are. Look. Fantastic. Looks like somebody's put like a rope swing up there to climb up and down or do something on there. This is supposed to be a protected area. No gill scrambling or anything like that. And I think there's some rare plants and wildlife in there, so I think it's probably a bit out of order, but people will be people. So yeah, I want to talk about what it was like playing rock guitar, metal guitar in the 80s. What was it like? I suppose I was quite lucky in the fact that when the 80s arrived, I'd already been playing guitar a few years, electric guitar, as a kid, and I was just in the right place at the right time, really. So I joined this band around about 1980. It was down in the south of England at the time. I was down there for a few years, and it coincided with this new wave of British heavy metal scene. And we were all like teenagers and that, and there's people being people. It was like, you know, all these bands. There was some pretty ordinary acts getting signed back then, and so we thought, let's jump on the bandwagon. And why wouldn't you when you're that age? Let's see if we can do the same. So yeah, we went down the new wave of British heavy metal rabbit hole. It was quite fascinating, really. I think the reason a lot of these bands were getting signed was that the whole punk era, which started around '76 in the UK, that kind of was burning out come the end of that decade. But I think it spawned a lot of independent labels and a lot of small studios, and I think they were all touting for business and work, and there was a lot of small labels as well, independent labels. They're all touting for work, and when this scene came along, I suppose it was a logical step just to keep busy and you know, keep earning and that, keep these places going. But yeah, there was a lot of small studios and independent labels around, and people getting signed left, right and centre. But it was a crazy time, really, because, you know, as you know, there's only a few bands came out of it, and I would say they were kind of punk influenced. I mean, I think Iron Maiden is the best example of a band that came out of that new wave of British heavy metal era. And of course they became an absolute monster of a band, and rightly so. But if you listen to the first two albums with Paul Di'Anno singing on them, that's a really heavily punk influenced set of albums there, and I really like them. I really like tracks like Wrathchild and all that. But you can hear that kind of punk energy, and I think that formulated a little bit of it. I think that formulated like Motorhead when they kind of took off around 1980 for the Overkill album. It's a very punk influenced thing. So yeah, we were writing a lot of riffs that were, you know, quite basic, power chordy stuff, you know. It just try and make it sound as loud and as heavy as possible. And of course then that started to burn out a little bit, that scene. And all of a sudden you found there's all these kind of hair metal bands, and at the same time as that there was all the kind of technical guys that sort of like coming out the fusion style, if you will, like Satriani and Vi. So it all moved on to a different level, and then it seemed to become about chops if you're a lead guitar player then. You know, who's the fastest player in town? It was nothing to do with dynamics or feel or songwriting. It was just who's the fastest player. Like, it got kind of silly, really. I always avoided it, never got wrapped up in it. But I can recall one story, right? Our local venue where I live in Morecambe now, they used to have bands on every week, and the bands from all over the world, basically. It was a small club-sized venue, and there was a band there. I think I'll leave them nameless. And they were a symptom. Oh, some sheep attacking me. Oh no, they're avoiding me. They were one of those bands that got signed to a decent label or subsidiary of a decent label, and they'd had absolutely loads of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars chucked at them. They were doing this UK tour and that. they weren't very good in my opinion. A lot of those bands worked because people were jumping on the bandwagon again with the hair metal bands. But anyway, long story short, we get invited back to their hotel after the gig because a few of my mates worked at this venue and that. And the guitar player, one of the guitar players, he was absolutely loaded. The amount of expenses he was earning a week was completely, well, I say earning, they were giving him, was absolutely crazy. I've got more sheep that want to, you know, you can see them. Where are you, sheepies? Oh, there they are, look. They look like they're queuing up to come over the bridge. You'll have to wait, fellas. I'm nearly done. Anyway, we're in this hotel bar and he's buying all the drinks. He's out of his head, he's stoned, he's coked out of his mind, like. And us being skint northern British people, we're getting him to go to the bar and get drinks in, you know, get all the rounds in. And that kept going on all night, like. But about 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, he's still just about compass mentis. He says to me, "Oh, your mate says you're a guitar player. I was getting that waterfall in there again." He says, can I come back to your place? We'll have a jam now." He had no concept of the UK at all. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah, like, we're going to go back to my place. I'm going to fire up the Marshall and we're going to start having a massive... What he wanted was a guitar battle to see who was the quickest, you know. And I just thought it was completely ludicrous, like. But it was all started by my mate. I never mentioned I play guitar. My mate did. He says, "Oh, my mate plays guitar. He's all right," and he just set this guy off. But that was the 80s for you. It was just like guitar wars, etc. It's crazy times, like. Thank God we've moved on from that. It's yeah. Some incredible players came out of it, but thank God we've moved on from it. So it just remains for me to say from a very sunny Eskdale Falls, thanks for watching, stay safe, keep well, and I'll see you all later, guys. Bye.